Dr. Edison Magalhaes is here with us to talk about trailer tracking and sanitation methods for improved biosecurity. Edison obtained his degree in veterinary medicine in Brazil in 2015. After completing his DVM, Edison worked as a swine veterinary practitioner in the Brazilian swine industry for 4 years. He then came to the U.S. in 2019 to do his master's in preventative veterinary medicine at ISU. He finished in 2021 focusing on PERS regional control programs, and in 2023 he completed his PhD in population sciences and animal health, focusing on developing automated models to integrate and analyze swine data collected under field conditions to provide insightful information for decision makers. Currently, Edison is an assistant professor in the Department of Animal Sciences at ISU, where he focuses on forging novel strategies that integrate data and information through analytics and machine learning approaches, supporting pork producers to make research-based decisions in real time to improve their production practices. He also serves as the U.S. Ship Market Hall Sanitation Working Group Chair since January 2023. Welcome, Edison. Looking forward to your talk.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the invitation. Pleasure to be here. I want to congratulate also the Leman conference organizing committee. It's a really nice conference, enjoying so far. So today, as Megan mentioned, I'm also currently chairing the U.S. Ship Market Hall Sanitation Working Group. Been fortunately enough to be participating on that. It's a really good experience. And we got two SHIC funds, two grants from SHIC related to this work where we could do some testings and investigation and bring educational material. And I'm going to present a summary of those for you guys today. So today, as I mentioned, I'm part of the Live Hall Sanitation Working Group. And just an outline of today's presentation, I'm going to focus on these two projects that were funded both by SHIC. One is a project where we call the Task Platform. It's a truck automated sanitation classification platform. So basically, we want to know if our trucks went to the packing plant and if they were washed after. How do we verify that? So that project was focused on that arena. And the second project was to test alternative trailer wash methods specifically for market pigs, right? For market trailers. So getting started with that, this one is the first study that we did. Like I mentioned, this is the final report is already available. So it's creating a truck automated sanitation classification platform using multiple ways to record data. So think about what we have available today in the swine industry to record information about truck deliveries at the packing plant, deliveries of pigs at the packing plant, and also the event of going to a truck wash and being there. So we are not measuring here the quality of the wash, but just to record those events so we can verify that later. That was something that was through SHIP and the working group, we verified that was very important, the need to do a study on that. So if we want to verify those two events, how can we do that with the best accuracy? So that's basically the summary of this study. So we did a pilot study last year with Prestige at the Eagle Grove plant in Iowa. So I want to thank Ryan Pudens for his support on this. So a summary of how that looks like, if you think about those two events here, the packing plant deliveries and the truck washing events, those are the two main things that we want to verify. And for that, what we tested were three different methods. One is inside checking, so basically people recording those events at the packing plant and at the truck wash, basically manually, and maybe uploading that data into an Excel file. The other two are trailer and truck GPS related data, so with GPS beacons on both truck and trailer, and that record that information of those two events from that. And the other one, we tested this app with the support of the Animal IQ company, which is called the Clean Truck app, where basically at the truck wash, they would create the ticket of this truck is being washed with this app, so they would have tablets there. So that's basically the summary, and then we aggregate this whole data and build some algorithms around that to standardize everything and then compare which one performs best in terms of accuracy for verifying that the trailers are delivering pigs at the packing plant and they are being washed later if we want to, let's say, think about auditing that later or needing that information for outbreak investigation. So that's just an outline of Prestige plant in Eagle Grove, Iowa. So the trailers, the trucks would come this way, and they will go all the way here to deliver the pigs at the unloading dock at the packing plant, and they would come back and go this route, and this is the truck wash at the plant. So we have here the base, and then from there they would go down, after cleaning, they would go out in this different route and continue to work. So 4 manual wash bays, 1 automatic bay, so we focus on the manual bays only here. They would have an office, and this is open to all customers delivering pigs to their packing plant. So basically every truck leaving the packing plant, they're being washed there. And like I mentioned, each of those methods that we tested, at the end of the day, different methods, but they all provide an Excel file that we can export and then analyze that data, right? But we don't want to be dealing with Excel files, so how do we build a platform to aggregate, standardize those different information, and then verify the one that's providing the most accurate information? So from this time of the pilot, we worked with around a month of data. So that collected around 800 washing events at the packing plant and 799 deliveries of market pigs. So we had, like I mentioned, we put GPS beacons on trailers and the cabins. And we use the Clean Trailer app. So basically 1 tablet per bay in the truck wash at this site. And with the tablet, we'll have the app that I'm going to show you guys on that. For the GPS data, what we have to do is establish a geofence, like Gustavo mentioned. So this is the GPS here of the truck wash. So like again, the trucks would come this way. Here's where they unload the pigs, and then they come back. Once they enter here, then we have the enter in the geofence of the truck wash. And when they leave, there will be an exit. And that's the geofence of the packing plant. So when they're entering and leaving, that geofence is when they are unloading the pigs. So for the app, this is what the app looks like when you open the tablet. We would have all the trailers that deliver pigs at the packing plant register already. So basically the person washing, so it needs to be really easy to use. The person that is washing the trailer parks inside the bay, the person clicks on document wash, then that will open all trailers available. So he will select it, for example, the trailer here, in this case 1727. And when they select the trailer, you're going to put the worker name, the license plate, the back of the trailer, which will take off the license plate. And then we'll take 3 pictures before washing. So this is how it looks like. So this is the first picture where you get the back of the trailer. And then you take 3 pictures before washing so you can see that the trailer is dirty, right? And that is all generating information and being automatically recorded. And once the person finished the job and washed the trailer, come back again and take 3 pictures after the wash procedure. So then you can compare before and after the wash and the quality of the wash. And one nice thing about this technology is that before leaving the trailer, the supervisor could request to receive the trailers, the pictures after, and then approve or not the wash, instead of going there and checking. And here's where you approve or not. So this will come to the supervisor, and then once it's good to go, the job is complete. So it needs to be really easy to use, because the person that will be doing that are the guys that are out there actually washing the trailers. And the nice thing, in my opinion, is that the metadata that you generate from that, right? So here are all the washes that were completed over the time in this specific data they were checking. And once you click in any of those washing events, those tickets, that's what is going to open. So it's going to have like a QR code and the trailer, the date, and the time that the trailer arrived. And what you can do for further investigation, for example, you can use that QR code and you can scan, and that will open and give you access to all the pictures before and after, so you can take a look. So let's say an outbreak investigation, and you had a PED site that had a break. You want to go back to that trailer that delivered pigs at that site. You can go back and check how was the wash of that trailer. So I think it's a nice way. But for us, for this study, what we are interested in is not actually the pictures. We want to understand the metadata. So when the trailer, with the trailer ID arrived, the time, and when the trailer left the truck wash, right? And here the link it goes directly to the pictures, but what we want is basically those three columns. Trailer ID, date and time entering in the truck wash, and the time and date that they left. Yep, so that's an example here of one trailer, 1708, arrived in this time here, 8:20, and left at 9:07. So this taking of the pictures ensure like that the trailers were clean, so you can verify that, and you can also verify that it was dirty before, and you find areas that may not be caught if you're not using the app, for example. So that's how it looks like. So this is just a couple of examples of pictures. So they are not very high quality because the more quality you have, more data storage you need, but it's really good, gives you a good perception of what's going on there. So like I mentioned, this is, after doing that, we built the algorithms to import all the Excel files from the GPS, in this case, from this Clean Trailer app, and import the manual recording Excel file that they have at the packing plant and the truck wash, and we integrate that with SAS here. So automatically importing, cleaning, and standardize all this data, because at the end of the day, they all have the same thing. Trailer ID, date and time that they entered the truck wash or the packing plant, and the time that they left. And then after that, we can generate some reports and then start analyzing and checking which method was the most accurate for verifying compliance. So the reports that we generate are the number of washing events per day and week, number of deliveries events per day and per week, and we do that by trailer and by truck in case, for example, it's specifically of the GPS. But what we are most interested here, let's say like that, it's the number of clean and dirty events. What's a dirty event? It's a truck that went to the packing plant twice in a row without going to the truck wash, right? In this case, we didn't find a lot of those events because it's a policy of the company, but if we think about applying the same concept to other scenarios, then we can measure how much, like what's the percentage we are having of dirty events out of, I don't know, X many per week. So the report, it's pretty simple. We generate, for example, here the daily number of deliveries at the packing plant. So we have the dates here and the number of events. So we started with low because that's where when we started. So on average, 34 to 37 deliveries at the packing plant per day during this study trial. So the number of washes, so pretty similar to the number that we are seeing here of deliveries at the packing plant, is the number of washing events as well. So then you can consider this by all approaches, or you can look at just GPS or just the Clean Trailer app or just manual invoices. And here is overall the number. So out of 799 events that we had 767 clean events that we call. So almost 96% of all events, they were considered as clean. So truck wash delivery at the packing plant, followed by a truck delivery at the packing plant, followed by a truck wash. So not two deliveries in a row. We had these 23 first, which were the first wash of the pilot, but we had 9 events that were considered as a dirty event. Could be either through the app or through the GPS. So then we do further investigation. And most of the times what we find is when one of the technologies failed, for example, we didn't capture the truck wash event with the GPS because of, let's say, the beacon ran out of battery, we would have the other two to compare if it was dirty or not. But we had one case that didn't capture, let's say, the wash event on both the beacon of the GPS and also the app. So we went there and we could find a manual invoice to verify that that truck was washed. So part of the policy of the company here. And like I mentioned, we can generate some charts, understand a little bit of the data. So this is like the average time to wash the trailer, the distribution from this data set that I showed you guys. So on average, on the y-axis, we have the percentage, and the x-axis, the time in minutes. So we have an average of 56 minutes of the interval before and after washing the trailer, so using the data from the app. So when they created a ticket using the app and when they finished, so around 1 hour here. And here's the data, but using the GPS beacon, so the trailer beacon. And on average, it's the same data, enter and exiting, the enter and exit of the truck wash geofence on average was 20 minutes, so not 1 hour. And why that? Because the ping of the beacon in this case was every 30 minutes. So if we plug, that's what we learned with this pilot, if we plug this directly to the power of the cabin, we could have a ping every 30 seconds, but in this case we were using a battery for the trailer beacon, so that was, the ping was every 30 minutes. And the time to unload, for example, you can check, so it was on average 21 minutes to unload the pigs. And why was that fast? They like this ramp that they have at the packing plant that will go to each floor of the truck, of the trailer, so it's easier to unload the pigs in this case. So take homes of this study, this taking of pictures, make sure that the trailers were clean, let's say like that, and found areas that were dirty before and not always being identified. Trailer-related data is the most accurate for verifying washing status. So in our case, the data that captured most of the washing events was the GPS beacons, but in our case, the GPS data doesn't provide you the pictures, right? So we have on the one hand that a GPS beacons being the most accurate, so not losing many events, but doesn't provide the picture so you can verify. And that's the thing with the Clean Trailer app, had a high agreement with the GPS, but provided this benefit of having pictures. And the good news, in my opinion, is that this type of approach could be applied to other companies or capturing data from multiple companies, each one using one of those strategies. So at the end of the day, you can standardize that data. And for example, in a region, you can say how many dirty or clean events you are having through a centralized database, and then verify that later. All right, so moving to our next study, also funded by SCHIC, and that we just completed this one, so I don't have the final report yet, but I'll be sharing with you soon. But we have the results here to present. So we just finished this summer. It's a totally different study, but also that supports the educational purpose. So we thank SCHIC on that for the US SHIP efforts here. So in this case, we all know that market trader is a low-hanging fruit in terms of transport biosecurity, the cleanness, the methods to clean. Some companies wouldn't be washing every single market trailer after delivering at the packing plant. So can we test different alternative methods and understand if they're efficient or not on washing market trailers? So that's the importance of effective trailering, cleaning, and disinfection. For example, using PED as our case. We know from the outbreak of 2013-14 and everything that we have to, all the effort that we had to do at that time. And the risk posed by livestock trailers returning from these terminal points, so coal stations and slaughterhouse of concentrations, we all know that risk. So the objective here is to evaluate the effect of alternative trailer cleaning methods on the relative risk of introducing diseases to farm. So experimental design here, we did 5 treatments. One treatment is the scrape and bake, so it's a dry clean method, not using water. The other one is a volume hose and disinfect, so not power washing. And the third one is a power wash and disinfect. And of course, the positive control and the negative control. We use model-sized trailers that were inoculated with PED fecal material. We had 5 replicates per treatment, so a total of 25 replicates. And after washing the trailers, what we did, as we want to measure here the risk to bringing material to the farm, we did a full traffic simulation between trailer and the farm site area. So imagine like the loading chute. And the samples from the trailer and the farm site, they were both tested by PCR, but the samples from the loading chute or the farm site area, we also used that inoculated pigs for bioassay to estimate like the viability of that sample. So again, the positive control, PD feces positive with no cleaning methods, and then we simulate foot traffic, take the sample from the loading chute and put on the pigs. The negative control, the same thing, but with negative PED feces. Scrape and bake, so we would basically scrape, and we're going to show you some pictures, and heat up to 160 Fahrenheit, and then we turn off. The volume hose and disinfect, which is not power washing, and then the high pressure water base with disinfect. So for that, after, like I mentioned, we collect the samples from the loading chute area after doing the foot traffic simulation, and then we inoculate with that material intragraphic PD naive pigs, so we can do the bioassay. So using the chute sample, and the pigs that were inoculated were 2 pigs per replicate. So remember, 25 replicates, 5 per treatment. We have a total here of 50 pigs, so 2 pigs per replicate. And those pigs were PD, of course, naive and 10-day-old pigs. And after inoculating the pigs, we collected fecal swabs for assessing PD, if they were positive or not, on day 0, 4, and 7 post-inoculation. Just to show the facility here, this is the internal part of building 29, and I used to make this joke that it's a building, in my opinion, specifically made for this type of research. It was really good. I'm going to show you guys. But of course, we were doing 1 treatment per day, and after each day, we've really a heavily load of cleaning and disinfection between the replicates. So the first thing, we wanted to make sure that we build a standard fecal material to inoculate all trailers. So we did that at one time. So we collected feces from a PD negative naive sow farm, and we mixed that all together. And here is just a pilot that we did to find the right consistency. So we found the amount of water that we need with the amount of feces to get to that type of slurry. And once we defined that, we did prepare everything at once. And here you guys have the 25 bags of PD naive feces, around 900 grams each one, because we inoculated 900 grams of PD feces with 100 grams of PD inoculum, positive inoculum. So when we want to do the trailer inoculation, we grab each of those bags. We have all the 100 mL PDV inoculum, and then we put in this bag. We shake and mix a lot, and then after that, with the own bag, we cover our hand on the opposite side, and then we spread across the trailer surface. So that's kind of how it looks like. And to spread, we use this Swiffer here with a disposable bag, so we can spread evenly across the trailer surface the PD material with PD positive feces, if of course, except the negative control. So the negative control, we just use 100 mL inoculum with PBS, so no PD, of course. And then after spreading, we put the fans and let it dry for an hour here in the back of the trailer, kind of simulating the truck in the road. So those are the mini trailers. So they are actually produced by a company that actually produces trailers. So the material is the same thing. It's really, really equal. And okay, here's the positive control. So that's why it's a little bit more dirty, but that's the foot traffic simulation that we do. So we bring this material to simulate the loading chute, and then we simulate 25 movements from inside to the outside, like people bringing pigs in and out of a trailer, and how much you're bringing back to the loading chute area or to the farm site area after the drying period. And of course, we will do that after applying the treatment. We would wash the trailer and then do that. This is the positive control, so we didn't clean, so we are doing right away on top of the feces. And then we would sample both the trailer and the chute surface, the farm site surface, and that's how it looked like with this material. And then we put that in a bag and squeeze only out the liquid, and have the final material from both the trailer and the chute, and we test both for PCR. And that's how it looks like. So this is the application in this case of the scrape and bake, so the no water method. So it's just basically using this snow removal, car snow removal that we adapt here to remove all the big solids, and then the other side to scrape. And you can see here in the right that really remove all solids, let's say the big ones, but you still can see, of course. And then we use these propane heaters on the back of the trailers to heat up those trailers until they reach 160 Fahrenheit, and then we shut off. And why we didn't keep for 10 minutes? Because we want to simulate market trailers, let's say people doing that on market trailers. So it's an alternative method here. We are saving on water, for example. And then it's the volume hose, how it looks like. So just basically start with a regular hose here in this case to simulate. You would expect a little bit more pressure in the actual truck washes, but for this model, it's a really good scenario, and we can see here that it's pretty clean. but we can see some surface here with residuals of feces, even though we are doing the wash. And we are actually, these on the sides here, it's the collar of the trailer. This one in the left is the trailer, one of the replicates, and this is the same replicate but the chute. So it's not crystal clear water, but we can see that it's a little bit dirty, but less than the trailer. So the collar here, and the same thing, it's another replicate, the trailer and the chute. I hope you guys can see, it's better here. So if you want to come stop by, just... Yeah, and this is the power wash, so it's on a high speed here, but the power wash, don't power wash directly without doing some volume hose first. That's what I learned, because I went there and did power wash first, and I just spread shit everywhere. So then I said, I screw up, I have to do it again. So we had some backup feces, and then I did the regular volume hose just to remove the big solids, and then we came and power wash, and I think that's what everybody really does in the field, right? So we can see here that it's pretty clean. We don't see any visual feces here. So results from this study, we found a high level of PED in pre-treatment samples across all before treating the trailers, applying the cleaning. We found a high level of PED, as you guys can see here. But the post-treatment viral loads in farm site areas, we could see, for example, the positive control around 6 million genomic copies, so we are not cleaning. So there's a lot of PED material after doing the food traffic. The scrape and bake reduced to 94,000, so a significant reduction compared to the positive control, but still some virus there. And both the volume hose and disinfect and the power wash and disinfect let's say a higher reduction compared to the positive control here. So these results here, we have the positive control, scrape and bake, volume hose, and power wash and disinfect. How many were positive by PCR before? So the inoculum, we collected the PCR of the feces. So they were all positive, of course, except the negative control. This is the trailer after applying the treatment. So they were all positive. The trailer samples, this is important to notice, they were all positive by PED after applying the treatment. So of course the positive control was, but scrape and bake, volume hose, and power wash, they were positive. And they were all positive on the farm site area, except the power wash, we didn't have 5 positive, but had 2 positive on the surface of the, let's say, the chute. So pretty much everything was positive by PCR, right? After applying the treatment. So this is kind of how it looks like. We have here the PCR in terms of genomic copies. This is in the log scale, but we have the raw number that I showed you guys before. So this is like, if we think about the previous slide, will be around 6.8 millions here, but they were very similar, the amount of virus in the inoculum. And once you apply the treatment, of course, the red line here, the positive control, didn't reduce because we didn't clean, and maintained the same for both the trailer and the chute. The scrape and bake, which is the orange one, the second one here, significant reduction here in terms of genomic copies, and a little bit more in the chute. The black one here, which is the volume hose and disinfect, was a higher reduction, and they maintain here, and the blue one is the power wash and disinfect. So it was the biggest reduction that we could see. So if we think about the results of the genomic copies, there will be a 98% reduction with the scrape and bake method. So if you think about the 6 million here, to this result was actually from 6.8 million to 94,000. So 98% reduction, and the volume hose and disinfect and power wash and disinfect was 99% reduction in terms of genomic copies of PED. So that's a trend that I wanted to see. Okay, but what about the bioassay, which I think we want to know if those pigs are going to be infected or not, right? So positive control, all pigs were positive. So 5 out of 5 were positive for PED. Scrape and bake, 4 out of 5 were positive. So in our case, scrape and bake was not efficient in inactivating PED virus. But both the volume hose and power wash and disinfect, and remember that they were all positive in PCR. So kind of going back to what Dr. Holtkamp mentioned, they were all positive by PCR, but they were all negative for bioassay, so produce negative pigs, so effective in inactivating PD virus. And all negative control, no PED. So these are the results from these fecal swabs on day 0, 4, and 7, and here by treatments. So everything negative on day 0, of course, and on day 4, all positive control were positive. On day 4, 4 out of 5 scrape and bacon were positive, and volume hose and power wash and disinfect, they were all negative on the fecal swab PCR. And this is the positive control on day 1, on day 0, all negative, but on day 1 we went there and we already could see the signs of clinical infection for PED. In fact, only one replicate out of the positive control, I went there and there was no diarrhea, and I was like, okay, maybe this one didn't get infected. But these guys here on the bottom of the feeder here, I moved that one and you could see vomiting starting. So they didn't have diarrhea, scours, but they were starting to vomit. So this is a summary of these 2 studies, but specifically for this one, we saw that the volume hose and power wash were both effective on reducing PEDV infection, even from PED positive PCR samples. The scrape and bake was not effective in our case. We saw that the water-based cleaning methods, both volume hose, disinfect, and power wash and disinfect, inactivated PED. And I think the key message here for us, we focus on market trailers here. We know that it's a low-hanging fruit for our industry. So the broad implementation of routinely cleaning market haul trailers, leaving the packing plant terminal points of concentration by either of the water-based methods in our case here, present an opportunity to create what we call a step change in the magnitude of the inter-premises disease transmission associated with market haul transport, and elevate the state of preparedness across the U.S. pork industry. So I think that's the key message. There's opportunity to use different methods and better than not doing anything, right? We know there is using PED here an example, but thinking about FAD, this is an opportunity for our industry. And with that, I would like to thank our industry and state and federal partnership in the U.S. SHIP, and also SHIC for funding these 2 studies. Thank you.
Thank you, Edison. Great presentation. I think we have time for one question. Is there any?
Yeah, you mentioned that the baking method, you didn't put any time to it, like it got up to 160 and then stopped. I was curious why you didn't test it to like a 10 or 15 minutes like what you would see out in the industry that people are using that method.
Yeah, we didn't do that method because we all kind of know that 10, 15 minutes it's effective. So I would expect the same result here. But as we are trying to create an alternative method for market pigs, if you're saving on water, I wouldn't expect if you're going to do the 10, 15 extra minutes on heating process. So can we do something different in terms of dry clean method? So that was our goal here.
Thank you, Edison. Let's give him another round of applause.